Oh baby, it's here. That's right, the long-awaited Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack has arrived and I've unboxed it. And I'm going to talk to you about the pros, the cons, the accessories, the paint apps, everything that's right and wrong with this exclusive release, and whether or not it is worth your purchase. Stick with me. I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. Alright, so once again, do me a favor and hit subscribe and the bell if you can. I make about one of these videos a week. They're not always toy reviews, but they are all great. So I don't want you to miss even one. So what we've got is this No Way Home 3-pack, which is the three main characters from Spider-Man No Way Home, which include all three of the on-screen live-action Spider-Man in American film over the course of the last however many years. These additional accessories here are mine. I just made them out of wire. I suppose I could airbrush them white. I just haven't yet, but I've seen other people do it. They're fairly easy to make, and they are better than some of the other accessories, which we'll get to. So first of all, the pros. Every single one of these characters has a pretty screen-accurate costume. The level of detail and texturing, specifically on Tobey and on Andrew, is pretty darn good. You get the raised webbing lines on Tobey. They're all silver, and they look pretty good on mine, although I've seen people who have posted some pretty frustrating paint app issues where one of the eyes is not painted at all. Andrew, however, the lines are also slightly raised, but in there you see the texture on the costume itself. And Tom, of course, has, instead of raised lines, embedded lines, and those do get a wash, although there's other embedded lines on this, this costume from No Way Home that don't get any of those washes that they might otherwise deserve, which is fine. And before we move on to the cons, in my opinion, let's go ahead and talk about the other jointed positive here, and that's the standard butterfly joints. On all the Spider-Man, I feel like that is and should consistently be something that is standard, especially after the Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, this Bagley Spider-Man, or Bagley-esque at least. The one thing that this comes with that these guys don't, that they probably should, is toe joints, like so. Frankly, that's a good starting point to get into the cons. The posability of these movie figures especially is a little bit lower. The hips are not quite wide enough that you can do very Spider-Man-like poses, but you can get pretty good, like I've done here. I think those are not too bad in terms of poses. The other cons, like I mentioned, there's no toe joint. Also, they are missing what I think is probably a critical accessory, but this isn't my biggest beef with this 3-pack. Not that I'm dissatisfied with it, just two different things that I think they could have done better. One, I do think they should have included actor heads, even if they had made this a little bit more, which, let's admit, these are per figure, cost more than the now higher price for every Marvel Legend, which is $24.99. Per figure, these come out to a little bit more, about 30 bucks even. For the extra $6, it would be really, really nice to see the actor heads that you could replace it with. But that, like I said, not my biggest frustration. It's the fact that they're reusing the Tom Holland Spider-Man figure that they've pretty much already done, I think, 2 other times. Well, at least once in the No Way Home wave, and then a second time they did something closer, Iron Spider, during Infinity War. It's not a bad costume, but I really think that for the No Way Home 3-pack, they probably should have gone with the final shot of the new Spider-Man homemade costume that he has at the end of No Way Home. The one that will, I assume, be leading into the 4th movie, maybe? Inspired by the other 2 Spider-Men. I'd love to have seen that, but, it is what it is. So I guess what we have to ask ourselves here is, with the accessories that we do get, does that really make it worth it? Well, the reason that I put these aftermarket homemade webs, which I think are much more posable on these, is what they come with for webs is this crap. These things are, in my opinion, unusable. Do they look okay? If you're not going to take the time to make your own webbing, sure, that's fine. They're a little bendy, but they aren't exactly rigid enough that you can pose them. They aren't terribly usable either. You've got almost a handle at one end. You can kind of thread something through, but it won't ever look like you're actually shooting a web, and you can't really connect to anything. So these things I pretty much almost immediately discard. So those accessories, pretty well worthless. I think the hands, for the most part, you get a thwippy hand for just about everybody. Here's Tom's. And of course I've got Toby and Andrew each have one of theirs. Andrew does get kind of a neat little throwy hand. I'm not really sure what to call that hand position. Almost a toss, I guess. They all get fists and open hands as well. Toby, however, does get two hands that I think are pretty great probably for posing him, which let him do the classic Spider-Man poster. I think it was amazing, or not amazing, but it was Spider-Man 2 that has him crawling down a glass wall. And you can just about do that, but even though these heads are double jointed, you can't move the head back far enough quite to do that real well. So it is what it is, and like I say, pretty hard to pull that off without the toe joints. So I guess the big question here is it worth it? Let me work it. Is it worth it to you to pick up a 3-pack of Spider-Man figures that costs as much as this does, which in my opinion for 3 figures, it's not crazy, but it's like 3 deluxe figures. So maybe, relative to what you're thinking, it could be pretty crazy. There's really only 2 that I wanted, which is the Toby and the Andrew. Are these good figures? Yeah, for what they are. I think they could have come with more. I think they could have, maybe not even come with more, but they could have come with different, better accessories. Maybe eschew the webs and one of the pairs of hands, switch that out for a different head. That's probably, like I said, one of my less big beefs. The biggest, of course, is the reuse of the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But all in all, to be able to put these guys in a central pose on my Spider-Man shelf, as a person who's a big Spider-Man collector, is that worth it to me? Personally, you better believe it. A big fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, even if I'm not a super big fan of Tobey Maguire as a person. Yeah, I think he's kind of a jerk from everything that I've heard about in Hollywood. Not a nice guy, but he may not even be my favorite on-screen Spider-Man. But I certainly do like Spider-Man 2 quite a bit. So I suppose if you are watching, do me a favor and tell me what your favorite Spider-Man movie is. I think my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time probably is the new Across the Spider-Verse. Even though Peter is kind of a side character in it, it's still pretty dang good and pitch perfect for what it's supposed to be, especially in modern Spider-Man comics, the good ones at least. Close ranking is probably Spider-Man 2. That's probably my second favorite. Maybe No Way Home is third. Maybe. Anyway, Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man also, and a great Peter Parker. Probably the best. He just had crap movies, unfortunately. Well, not entirely crap. Just not as good as some others. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If there's anything else worth mentioning that I missed on this. And also, I feel very sorry for you if the paint apps didn't work out. I got lucky. It sounds like I was initially thrilled when I opened this up, and I was like, wow, no QC issues this time. That's great. And looks like some people did experience those. So if you did, lo siento, my friend, vaya con Dios. Otherwise, if you like this, if you hated this, if you have other thoughts about it, let me know. If you're a big Spider-Man collector, is this absolutely worth it? Yes. If you are a casual Marvel Legends collector and you don't collect movie figures and just comic figures, this is probably not going to end up on your shelf. But thanks for watching. Take care, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.